You happy with your life? Don't you want it all?
Is that what you want for the next generation?
Sometimes I wonder if this is the price for what we've done.
Home sweet home.
Punishment. It's our world now to remold as we see fit.
What do you think?
Hail Satan.
American Horror Story.
Car is a crime scene. No fingerprints.
You're a little more dangerous than you look.
I'm losing my mind.
No, it's just expanding.
Hi, my name is Gia. I'm in music production.
Hi, my name is Haran and I'm in music business.
Hi, I'm Summer Himmelberger. I'm in music business.
My name is James and I'm in entertainment business.
So today for this video, we're starting out in sort of podcast setting. So what we wanted to have an open discussion about today is basically the rise of darker television, i.e. Stranger Things, Sabrina, Riverdale, American Horror Story, how it came to be, where it's rooted, and what we think about it, why we think it's trendy.
Oh, and let's not forget the Twilight Zone.
Question 1. Do you think dark TV shows have a positive influence on the industry?
Yes, in a way it does. I mean, it's not entirely based on it being dark, but again, I don't know what I'm trying to say over here. But basically, what I'm trying to say over here is that it allows more consumers to come in. There's more for people to see, basically.
I think that it's great that nowadays things that are considered taboo can still be openly shown through television and expressed through media arts, because I know maybe 5 or 10 years ago, before, I don't know how long ago Netflix began, but pre-Netflix, internet streaming and that type of thing, there's just a lot of barriers to entry to get on television, which included what you could talk about and what you could cover on your shows. And I think now that everything's more open, people are allowed to create freely.
Yeah, I guess there's more for people to express, because before people couldn't really openly speak about certain things, and now they can.
Question 2. How do you think this impacts you as a consumer of media?
From that perspective, I'd have to say, well, for me in music, since I don't want to go all the way back into music industry history, but I'd have to say from the early 2000s, I think for me is where I kind of experienced all that influence of dark television content, especially with music and the productions, even just going back to early shows, the rise of that particular content gave a whole new perspective onto music, not just having more Ionian based music and happy jolly songs all the time, but really giving the contrast, right, in that regard. So I'd have to say yeah.
I know I for one am a big horror movie buff, and horror movies started becoming super popular, and a bunch of them coming out, I guess, the 70s or 80s, I'd say. So the fact that they're taking that kind of same motifs and bringing it into a television setting, and also to the point that it's not just all jump scares, there's a lot of storytelling and plot lines and really interesting stuff to try and dig through that maybe takes up more than a movie, and now they have shows about it. I think it's really cool.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was phrased well, but
That's like the same for me too, honestly. Like as a consumer, I love watching things that are dark and, you know, intense, and that leave me really upset at the end. So yeah, I genuinely like things like that, you know, that leave you like, wait, what did I just watch right now?
when you finish the show, you're like, what?
I feel so empty, but it feels so good. You know, that's me. So I'm that kind of person. So for me, all of these shows, it's like, wow, I love these things. So as a consumer, I think it's really good that people are making shows like this or movies like this.
So
Yeah, I like dark television personally, but I feel like it could desensitize some people to like darker stuff in real life, you know, because they're seeing it so much on television all the time.
which could be good or bad.
Yeah, definitely.
It depends on the situation. Like probably like CSI and stuff. Like I know a lot of my friends want to go into like criminal studies and like that type of stuff just based off like the type of television they watched growing up and how it was interesting and like intricate to them, and it inspired them. So I think in that, like desensitization can be good, like for the workplace, but also you don't want to desensitize people to like tragedies. Like for example, if we want to touch on 13 Reasons Why a little bit, in that case I don't think like explicitly showing things and desensitizing people is necessarily the right move.
Yeah, that was pretty intense. That was intense.
Y'all can throw in your 2 cents. If y'all have seen the show.
I haven't seen it because I'm not really a TV
I just thought that went overboard.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Because it was a series about suicide, and instead of just raising awareness, they were basically showing methods, or they weren't basically portraying suicide as it's supposed to be. You know?
I get why they would want to show it like how they would believe it to be in real life, but at the same time, by doing it the way they did it and like not having any trigger warnings, it seemed like it was just for shock value, and that it was all just like a money grab, as opposed to actually trying to make or demonstrate positive change when it comes to mental health. So it's just very graphic.
They're all 10s.
How does it portray innovation or technological evolutions in your industry?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Just the production quality, I'd even say. But then again, I mean, I'm a big believer because you can like look back at different movies now from like the 80s and be like, these special effects like aren't good, but for the time they were really freaking good. But I feel like now, just like with our different type of technology, you can literally create anything.
You know, these kind of shows or these kind of movies, they have certain characters that need to be high quality or high definition, or they need to look scary enough, I would say. And while doing so, you can see there's a lot of technological developments in the industry because of this, because it not just improves the quality of that particular show, but it also inspires other creators, and you know, just helps in that aspect, I would say.
On that note, like without CGI, like you know, I mean, in my I personally am more of a fan of like practical effects and horror, just because I find it really impressive when people are able to create special effects like not just from a computer. But I also think that like the potential that people have when it comes to CGI now to create any type of monster, anything new, anything different.
Yeah, I agree that the graphics are a big part of what makes like television great nowadays. Because if you compare anything nowadays to like Van Helsing that was made, like, you know, and it's just such a drastic change. But during the time, it was like the top of the line for entertainment, you know.
Is there a new method or idea that is being introduced or utilized in dark TV? Elaborate.
The new idea is dark TV. Yeah, it is.
I would talk
Basic
about
and simple.
as far as like belief systems.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. But they just take the normal like ideals of like religion and just do a complete 180 with it. To talk about like witchcraft and like Satan and like all this type of stuff that.
All that dark shit.
Like dark stuff. But the way they do it, like, isn't like this is what you should be believing. It's just like purely entertainment, you know.
Or how about
which I don't think was always the case, like when religion infiltrated.
I guess when
does that make sense?
When we say there's new ideas, we can just say that, you know, because these things wouldn't be accepted before, as you mentioned before. Yeah. So this is the new idea that is new.
I don't know if I should like really talk about like because I remember seeing like this trailer for this show called American Satan. I don't know if anyone like has like.
Oh wait, the show or the movie?
I think it's a movie.
Yeah, I love that movie. Yeah, it's really good.
I think that was like one of the.
And that's a nice little crossover because that movie is about the music industry. Yeah. Basically, for a little bit of a synopsis, it's about like a rock band that tried to move out to California to make it big, and then they have to like sell their soul to the devil. And it's based on the story of Faust, which is like an actual like play. But they just take it into modern times and set it in punk rock, and it works really well.
Can I ask you to elaborate on how it's changed from what it used to be? Dark TV in general. Not just TV, but dark TV.
I think there's a lot more of it now. I mean, Twilight Zone, question mark? I don't know where the actual roots or the first, I guess, dark TV series came out, but I know like within my time, like growing up as a kid, it was the Twilight Zone. Like that was the thing to watch. And that's also one of the first places where people did anthological series, which essentially is that like every episode is like a new story, so you don't have to watch them in order for it to make sense. Right. Which is also really making a comeback. So.
Your idea, I totally agree. I think it all comes down to like availability of it as well. Mm-hmm. Like there's just a higher demand for the content being put out.
What impact is this having on the industry?
I definitely think dark TV is like the wave right now, and there's definitely like a surplus of them, especially on like the streaming sites like Hulu and Netflix. There's multiple dark TV shows that are very popularized on those platforms.
I think what we should touch on is that the reason that, I don't know about Hulu, but the reason Netflix is able to do that is because it is an independent company. So they're not necessarily dealing with the same barriers to entry or rules and regulations that like a cable television show might have. Right. So the reason we're seeing so many dark TV shows come out of Netflix is for that reason. Because no one higher up is like being like, you can't do that.
Right. Will this change any norms or processes?
Yes, I guess.
Well, that's tough.
As far as norms go, I think it already is changing norms
exactly.
of what we expect to see in our entertainment.
Yeah, that's true.
I also think it's like a matter of perspective, really. Mm-hmm. When you really look at it from like a broader scope.
I guess when we like speak from the industry, like industry's perspective, they are changing a lot of norms. But when it comes to consumers, it's basically on the consumers if they want to change their norms or whatever that is.
Do you think this is a trend or a fad?
Well, I don't think so, because it's been around for like 50 years now. What?
But we're seeing a lot more of it. So do you think that is a trend or a fad?
It's not a fad for sure. Because like over the last like 10 years or so, like there's just like been a constant increase, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That's just how I see
like
it.
American Horror Story, which actually is TV, like cable, standard cable.
Will this affect the way people interact and behave?
Possibly. I think it depends on the person and their own like mindset, basically. So like if someone's already crazy and they watch something about killing someone, they might go kill someone. But most people,
they'll just use that as an excuse, Like,
let's hope they don't.
Right.
I saw Sabrina, which is why I killed this person.
Like for example, like the Ted Bundy tapes is a really controversial, darker show right now, because people are like, where's the line between like glamorizing and putting like someone on a pedestal.
Yeah.
And just talking about the history and showing or filming a series the way that the public would have perceived it during the time, which was like kind of glamorous.
Quote unquote.
Well, unquote. Obviously it's not, but people put Ted Bundy on a pedestal and they were like, he didn't do that obviously because he's not like your standard serial killer, as in like he was like conventionally attractive or like whatever. So
he wasn't even attractive, to be honest. Have you seen the...
I'm just giving the argument that people have as to why it was done that way.
Well, it's like, just as you mentioned, because there have been a lot of shows based on more serial killers other than Ted Bundy, there's actually this thing in which people ask other people like, hey, who's your favorite serial killer? Like, I'm just like...
And I feel like you didn't see that type of stuff like before our generation, before internet age, where you can just sit and go into a rabbit hole of researching all these different things.
Yeah, I don't think there's a problem with the Ted Bundy stuff, just because if the public like held him at such a high praise during the time,
then why wouldn't you show it?
Exactly, it's just like a part of history.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think there's just a line of freedom of expression, freedom of speech there that needs to be protected.
Yeah, a fine line too.
It says, what about the way people communicate and or understand one another?
I think that with the rise of the internet and streaming and all these things, you would think we'd be able to understand each other more. You would think, but I don't necessarily think that's the case.
Yeah, I'd have to agree too, because I mean, really and truly, you really like get to understand people for like interaction and you know, just the whole social environment and that kind of thing. So I don't really think it really affects like that much. I could be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, but you know, I think it just all again comes back to like perspective, values, norms.
I guess they do understand each other, but they don't agree with each other, you know? If that makes sense, because
yeah, I think what you're saying.
Because a lot of people, I'm sure even back in the days, no one really understood each other, but now everyone's getting very open about their feelings, about who they are, about what they believe in, and so everyone's just speaking about who they really are, and other people are like, no, I don't agree with that, and so which is why there's a lot more conflict than there was before. So I would say they understand each other, but they don't agree with each other.
What impact does it have on society as a whole?
I think it has some people scared, to be honest.
I think there is a little bit of backlash.
Yeah, just a bit.
I love it.
You love the backlash.
But then again, depends on the target market too.
Like on the series. Oh no, I mean, I'm saying I love dark TV. I love watching it, so that's just what I'm talking as a consumer, basically.
Me too. But I think it's a lot more popular now. So I think it's missing less. Yeah. It's like common.
Yeah.
What implications does this have on things that society highlights, like certain values?
Everyone shops a hot dog. No, just kidding.
I think like religion.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna start talking about, but I don't really know where to start. Throughout history, we've had periods of time where religion has been like ever so like weaved into our culture, even though that's what we're supposed to stand against. And I think now things are finally starting to change because of like the internet, and because we have access to all types of information. We can research all types of different things. We don't just have to like take what we're fed and accept it as true.
True. Critical thinking.
That's it. Nice. Thank you.
You heard?
So that concludes our open discussion about the rise of dark television. Let's open it up to the audience in the classroom right now. Now it's your turn to give out your opinions, have a little healthy discussion, healthy debate. Thank you for watching.